Greetings everyone. Today we're going to be learning about equalization for spoken word. This video will discuss what is EQ, equalization, why we need it, types of EQ, how to use it, and then we'll finish off with a real world example using freely available tools. The link is in the description. EQ is audio equalization. It involves cutting or boosting different frequencies in audio. There are two main types. There is corrective EQ, and this is to remove kind of unwanted signals like rumble, resonances, sound bleed, things like that. And then there is enhancement EQ, where you sculpt the sound for aesthetic reasons. For example, boosting something to improve intelligibility or cutting to remove boom. Rarely is a mic in a perfect sounding room with perfect placement to get the best out of it. So we need to use a bit of EQ to polish things up. Types of EQ. The two main kinds are graphic equalization, which has a bank of filters at specific frequencies. This is really useful when you don't need to get surgical and you just want to quickly boost or cut an area. Then there is parametric EQ, where you can control the loudness, the center frequency, and the width of each filter. This gives you a lot of control. There are other kinds of filters, but they are beyond the scope of this video, and you wouldn't really be needing them for just basic EQ. The types of filter within EQ. There's firstly a high pass, which cuts everything under a specified frequency. There is a low pass, and this cuts everything over a specific frequency. There is a shelving EQ, which boosts everything either above or below a set frequency. And then you have parametric, which boosts or cuts a set frequency with a controllable bell curve. There are other filters, but again, these are beyond the scope of this video. Before we go into the details on how to use an EQ, it's important to understand what the different frequencies are as pertaining to the human voice. So you have 100 hertz to about 250 hertz. This is generally where the kind of boom is in the human voice. Vowel sounds occur between 350 hertz all the way up to 2 kilohertz. Consonant sounds range from about 1.5 kilohertz to 4 kilohertz. Where you get the intelligibility and clarity of spoken word, that's in the 1 to 5 kilohertz range, and this is also where the human ear is most sensitive to sound. The presence or kind of airiness to a voice occurs at about 4.5 kilohertz to 6 kilohertz, and then sibilance, which is something you don't really want, occurs in the 5 to 7 kilohertz range. Now, with equalization, there is no one rule fits all, because everyone has different voices, there's different microphones, there's different placements, so there'll be different things that affect just about every single recording. However, there are a few general rules when it comes down to audio recording for the spoken word. You want narrow cuts. You want wide boosts. You don't really want to be boosting or cutting any more than about 3 to 5 decibels, except when you're using high or low pass filters. And you should almost always apply a high pass filter on any spoken word at about 100 hertz to cut out the low end rumble. Now, some general tips with regards to what you could do. Any voice boom you could cut somewhere between the 100 to 250 hertz range. If the voice is sounding a bit dull, you can put a shelf that raises everything over about 5 kilohertz. If the voice is lacking kind of gravitas, a narrow boost somewhere in the range between 200 and 600 hertz can help. If the voice is sounding really harsh, you can find where that harsh sound is. It should be lying between about 1 kilohertz and 4 kilohertz, and pull that down just a little bit. If the voice is sounding muddy, a cut at between 250 and 400 hertz can really help with that. Of course, ideally, you want to be solving these problems with microphone placement. But if you can't and there's still issues, then we can go to EQ to just give it a bit of a polish. So let's get in, let's have a little listen and see what we can do to some spoken word. Okay, so we're in. Let's have a little look now about just the different things that we could do when it comes to using EQ. So I've already got my compressor and gate set up. So let's open this. Now, the first thing we want to do for, say, absolutely anything is we should put a high pass filter at round about 100 hertz, because anything under about 150-ish, there's no human voice in that. And we can narrow this bandwidth a little bit just to make this a bit sharper. We can listen to see we can see what's being removed when we play this. It's my voice, so I won't be talking when it's playing. You and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons with the money we got, set them free at the break of dawn till one by one they were gone. So you can see under there's all of that rumble. Don't need that, so just get rid of it. Now, let's say, for example, we were looking at and dealing with some kind of boominess. So let's go back to a... wrong one. So let's go to number 2. If we narrow the bandwidth an awful lot, what we can do is we can inspect different frequencies and see kind of what's going on with those. And this is a very useful way for you to kind of identify specifically where a problem is after you've identified the problem area. So let's just have a little listen with this. We're going to sweep through the kind of boomy area, see if there's anything booming. So up the gain an awful lot. Again, you would never be doing actual edits like this. This is just to identify any spots. So let's play again and have a little sweep through the boom section. You and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons with the money we got, set them free at the break of dawn till one by one they were gone. Back at base, but so you can see there's that little boominess. Now, if you were suffering from that, what you can do is identify that particular area. As in with this, it's 188 hertz, and then we can just nice and narrow, and then just reduce it by, I don't know, a couple of centimeters, a couple of decibels. The next area we're going to be looking at is the muddy area, where you can just feel a bit muffled. So again, let's narrow it, increase the gain, just open up just a little bit more, and this is going to be from the kind of 200 to 400 section. So let's have a listen. You and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons with the money we got, set them free at the break of dawn till one by one they were gone. So in this one, you can hear this was the bit that really kind of sticks out a little bit. If you were finding it muddy, you would identify that, and then again just drop it down however many decibels you deem necessary. You really want to go kind of gentle on it. Let's just listen to this on and off to see if you can hear. You and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons with the money we got, set them free at the break of dawn till one by one they were gone. Back at base, bugs in the software flashed the message. So you can see it's almost very slightly noticeable, but it does absolutely sort of clear things up a little bit. Let's say, for example, now our voice is sounding really harsh. We can go up here and make it again very narrow. And we're looking from the 1 kilohertz to kind of 4 kilohertz section. So let's have a listen here, see if there's anything that we would need to do. You and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons with the money we got, set them free at the break of dawn till one by one they were gone. Back at base, bugs in the software flashed the message. So we see over there, that just kind of sticks out a little bit. If I was worried about this, and then we could just reduce that just a little bit. You and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons. That's just made it sound set them free at the break of dawn till one by one they were gone. And that just makes it sound just a little bit smoother. Now, let's say, for example, we wanted to add a little bit of air. So we could then go to our fourth band here and Oh, we've got a high shelf already selected. And then at about 5 or 6 hertz, we just lift it up a few decibels. So let's have a listen with that on and off. You and I, in a little toy shop, buy a bag of balloons with the money we got, set them free at the break of dawn, till one by one they were gone. Back at base, bugs in the software flashed the message, something's out there, floating in just a tiny amount more air. So this is generally about the most you're ever going to be doing when you're using EQ with the spoken word. Ideally, you don't really want to be doing anything at all apart from the high pass filter at the beginning. You want to try and concentrate on your microphone placement, get that correct, because any kind of EQ does affect the voice to some extent. Well, as you can see, EQ is certainly a more surgical tool. It is not a blunt tool. It is used to refine and polish your sound. I hope you found it helpful. So if you do, hit like and subscribe, hit the bell icon for new videos and audio tips. Thanks. Bye.